The end to kleptocracy is now. I'm so happy to be part of this generation who are saying we will not allow the people of this country to be killed unjustly. But more than demanding for SARS to end, we need to start demanding for a form of kleptocracy in our democracy. The democracy that does not care or put into consideration the masses, but that is designed to make the few who find themselves in the political arenas become rich and live wealthy life has to come to an end in our country. It is time for you and I to raise our voice and begin to demand that this country does not want anyone who think he cannot serve without being massively paid. We want people who are patriotic. We want people who are willing to serve, giving their expertise and their skills to make this nation great. Do you know how much a senator is earning on a yearly basis? Are you aware how much has been spent on Nigeria National Assembly? For a year, how much they need to run that house? Are you aware of the, I call it hilarious payments, because hilarious. It's funny to hear them collecting some unreasonable amount of money. Newspaper allowance, wardrobe allowance, hazard allowance. These are money that does not get to anyone, that does not benefit any Nigerians. That one man is amounting to himself every day who said, I'm serving my nation. This is not how our forefathers served. This is not how our founding fathers served in this country. Our founding fathers abandoned all they have just to make sure we are coming here today to say it is time for us to demand for end to kleptocracy. Kleptocracy has crippled our economy. It has destroyed our democracy. Our society is only focusing another 4 years. We are not focusing on any progress. What we are talking about is another 4 years, because they know in 4 years the money will change power, the money will change hand. Some people will have the money while some will lose it. So everybody is talking about next election. So it is high time we begin to add to our demand that kleptocracy must become the things of end. It must become the things of past in this country. We must demand for a change in the way we run our politics and how we spend on the political office holders. We must begin to rise right now, Nigerians, and begin to speak wherever we are. If a senator will go to be member of the Senate, he should earn nothing more than minimum wages. That should be his pay. If you are really patriotic, your pay, your salary should be minimum wages. Yes. Why do you need wardrobe allowance in the first place? Why do you need wardrobe allowance? Why should we pay you wardrobe allowance? Why can't you use your phone to read news? Why do we pay you newspaper allowance? When you are not even exposed to any hazard, you are collecting hazard allowance. Whose hazard are you exposed to? The National Assembly member must be brought to book. We must ask them questions. We should not stop there. We should proceed to executive member, the ministers, the commissioners, the head of agencies, every one of them that have been appointed to reign and to be supervising a particular head in this country, they must all stop living and enjoying this jumbo pay from the government. It is time to end kleptocracy in Nigeria. I remain Israel Goodness Balogun. Do me a favor before you go. Like this page, subscribe to my channel, and let's share this video with our friends and family. Do not forget to see what this person has to say about what I just
see the picture of how the monthly salary, or maybe not salary, but allowances and everything that a senator gets, one senator gets on yearly basis or monthly basis. Let's say the basic salary is said to be 2.4 million naira. That is the basic salary, all right? But apart from that basic salary, then they have what is called the hardship allowance, which is 50% of the basic salary. And that comes to 1.2 million naira. And then apart from that, they have what they call constituency allowance. Now, I know that the constituency allowance is supposed to be used for the development of their constituencies. But tell me, what are the constituencies that have been developed by senators? Tell me. Show me these constituencies, the local governments, the constituencies that have been developed by the government, by the senators. Even those constituencies might not even know that they are giving them money to develop them, to bring life to their constituencies. And rather, they will before the election, go and spend money in the constituencies to be elected. And that money, they make it look as if they are the ones who are spending it from their pocket. They will not tell you that the federal government is actually giving money to every senator to spend to develop his own constituency. But the amount of money that they are getting for the constituency is 200% of their basic salary, which comes to almost 5 million naira. Now, then apart from that, they have the newspapers allowance. The newspaper allowance has to be 50% of their basic salary, which is 1.2 million newspaper. But why do you even need newspaper allowance these days when you have internet? I mean, you have, your internet. There's no need for that. That has to be removed. And then another funny one, they have wardrobe allowance. Wardrobe allowance is clothing allowance, which is 25% of their basic salary, which comes to 621,000. But why do they need wardrobe allowance when were they not wearing clothes before they were elected? And were they not even well-to-do? These are the well-to-do Nigerians. Some of them were governors, some of them were successful people. They were already successful. Why should I be clothing them? Why don't they come and wear their own clothes to their workplace? Are they doing fashion parade in the Senate? Then they have another one they call recess allowance. That's for holidays, so that they could travel. 10% of their basic salary. So what about other Nigerians who are not in government? Don't they travel? Don't they have recess? Don't they have holidays? Don't they have vacation? They have a way of taking care of themselves. Why should the Nigerian government be paying for salary every senator? I mean, 400 and something of them, almost 500 of them. And that is 10% of their basic salary, which is 248,000 naira. Accommodation, which is accommodation allowance, that is another one, which is 200% of their basic salary. So it's 2 times their basic salary. It comes to almost 5 million naira. And then you have utility allowance with utilities, and maybe you want to buy iron or shine your shoe, 30% of their basic salary, which is 828,000 naira. So these are some nonsense that are happening. Look at the next one. The next one is domestic staff allowance. Domestic staff, that is Nigerians. We have the elite Nigerians, then you have the masses. So from the masses, you have slaves. So those domestic staffs are the slaves. And then the Nigerian government has to, the Nigerian population have to be paying for Nigerian senators to keep slaves. Whereas these people are supposed to be there to create, equality for all Nigerians, so that there will be no slaves, so that we will all be equal. Instead of that, we are practicing oligarchy. We are practicing aristocracy. We are practicing feudalism. That is where you have domestic staff. And government people are even doing that. This is evil. 70% of their basic salary, that is what we give them, pay them extra time to be keeping slaves or housemaids or domestic staff, we call them. And that comes to 1.8 million naira. Then you have another allowance that is called entertainment allowance. And the entertainment allowance is 30% of their basic salary, which is 828,000. See, it's all crazy. Personal assistance allowance, they have that one too, which is 25% of their basic salary. It comes to 621,000 naira. Then you have vehicle maintenance allowance, which is 75%, because didn't they ride their own vehicle before they came? 75% of their basic salary, which comes to 1.8 million naira. Then you have the leave allowance. This is even different from the one we saw before. Leave allowance. They have to go on leave. Then you have 10% of their basic salary, 248,000 8,000 naira. Then you have severance gratuity when they finish, when they are no more elected. You pay them 300% of their basic salary, which is 7,400,000. That is what you pay them. Then you have car allowance again. That's for buying new cars for them. That's come to 400% of their basic salary, which comes to almost 10 million naira on every senator. So the total amount, if you are going to calculate all these things together and you are going to add them all up, it comes to monthly salary of 181,000, almost $182,000. That is in naira, it's going to be 29 million naira, 29 million naira or $181,000. That's why people are rushing to this place. And then the yearly salary or the yearly income these people reckon will come to, because if you multiply 29 million by 12, it comes to 353 million naira or $2 million naira, $2 million. A little more than $2 million a year is what comes to the hand of every senator. And we have about 500 of them, 460 something thousand, of the senators are less, 100 and something, 109. Then with the House of Representatives, which a little bit less, But you see, the Nigeria economy cannot sustain this kind of National Assembly. We cannot sustain this kind of senators. Something needs to be done urgently. And I call upon